And now it's time for Fabulous Film and Friends. Welcome to the launch of our epic 5th season on Fabulous Film and Friends. This is the big one. The one that everyone will be talking about for years to come. Why? Because this is the episode where I finally get to trash the Barbie movie, as we dive into the idea of when good directors go bad. We're inspired by the recent release of 2025's Paul Thomas Anderson, Leonardo DiCaprio domestic terror extravaganza One Battle After Another, which also stars Benicio Del Toro, Teyana Taylor, Chase Infiniti, Regina Hall, Tony Goldwyn, Alana, Haim, and Sean Penn. So we're going to analyze just what went wrong with this promising cinematic spectacle and going to compare it to another creative disaster that should have been an artistic and thematic slam dunk considering its pedigree, 2023's Barbie, directed by Greta Gerwig and starring Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, America Ferrera, Ariana Greenblatt, Simu Liu, Rhea Perlman, and Will Ferrell. I'm your host, Gino Caputi, and returning to their mics pretty much right where they left them from last season are little sis Roseanne Caputi and actor photobug Gordon Alex Robertson. Alex?
Oh no.
You're going to start this season out of the hot seat again, as Roseanne is going to continue to thrill us with factoids about the directors in question.
Thank you.
Hit us again with the facts, Teach.
All right, well, we'll start with Greta Gerwig, who at one point in her life was a competitive fencer. She graduated from an all-girls Catholic school. She and Kate McKinnon lived in the same dorm. And she worked or did a treatment of the screenplay for Disney's Snow White. Paul Thomas Anderson, also raised Catholic. His father was a late-night horror host in Cleveland named Ghoulardi, after which his production company is named. And his senior year in high school, he made a 30-minute mockumentary for a class called The Dirk Diggler Story.
Oh. Alex, give us your Johnny Carson. I did not know that.
That is wild. I did not know that. That was really more Dana Carvey.
Yeah, that was
Carvey. Right, yeah.
All right, so before we sharpen the bayonets and light the fuses, the synopses. Barbie follows the titular blonde doll as she awakes blissfully in the female-run Barbie land each day, ignoring her supposed boyfriend Ken and partying with her fellow Barbies at night. One night during a sensationally choreographed and costumed dance party, she has an existential crisis about mortality and develops flat feet, causing her to leave Barbie land on a journey to the real world to find the source of her angst. Realizing her depressed feelings stem from a psychic connection to her original owner, Gloria, Barbie reconnects with Gloria and Gloria's daughter, and their trio travel back to Barbie Land. Upon their return, however, they are dumbfounded to find that Ken has taken over and has brainwashed all the other Barbies into subservience to him and his fellow Kens. A battle of sexes ensues. One Battle After Another loosely adapts Vineland, a novel by Thomas Pynchon, the second novel adapted by director Paul Thomas Anderson. This one follows Bob Ferguson, a bomb expert drawn into the terrorist group the French 75. Amid the group's revolutionary chaos, Bob fathers a daughter named Willow with the fiery-tempered and uncontrollable Perfidia Beverly Hills. Perfidia also has a complicated relationship with the mannered and single-minded Colonel Stephen Lockjaw. She is soon caught during a botched bank robbery, and Lockjaw strikes a deal with her, leading her to name names. Years later, after most of his French 75 cohorts have been hunted down by Lockjaw, Bob is still on the run in Northern California with Willa. But Lockjaw finds and captures Willa, so Bob must confront the unstoppable Colonel for once and for all. Alright, where did these two talented filmmakers go off the rails? We're going to find out. Alright, first things first, Alex. What film did you prefer?
One Battle, if I had to pick over the two, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it had some redeeming qualities visually, and I like the pace. I mean, I thought, wow, there's a good movie in there somewhere, but boy, I don't know. I just found Barbie irredeemably bad. I sat through it. My wife, who wanted to see it for the last year and a half, fell asleep before it ended. And at one point, she turns to me and says, "This is the worst movie I've ever seen." And my
Amen.
wife who's a strong woman, who is, she's not a feminist, but she is a strong woman. You know her. She's strong. She's independent. She goes, oh, my God, this is bad. So I was surprised to hear that. But, I mean, and she went with her gut.
Indeed. Well, speaking of feminism, Roseanne, show us your street cred on feminism. Are you pushed around? Are you one of these women who are pushed around by the patriarchy?
Daily.
So,
But I've read a lot of books to help me fight that problem.
Okay, so what do you think of Barbie and One Battle After Another?
Again, Barbie is abominable. I think both of them. The reason that you said, is it too Barbie when I saw One Battle After Another? And I was like, that's exactly the problem. Like, both of these films are more about what these artists are projecting about themselves, as opposed to what story that they're telling and what they want to believe about themselves in terms of, I don't know, they're showing what they want to be seen as opposed to, which is definitely what's creating these ridiculous systems like racism and patriarchy, instead of telling authentic stories that actually help beat down the very systems that they're talking about. And again, they're both in by doing that, being complete corporate shills. Like, I can't believe what a lame ass Paul Thomas Anderson is being. I'm just like, I can't believe you're just bowing to this. You're so into this concept of yourself as what? A non-racist, that you're bowing to Hollywood as a result. And Greta Gerwig too. I'm like, this movie isn't feminist. This movie is nothing. It's a corporate shell of a film that relies on all these terrible speeches about what it is to be a woman. And again, it's just like, when you're really interested in what is to be a woman, you also take accountability for the role you play in your own oppression. And none of the characters do that. I'm just like, this isn't feminism. This is bullshit.
They get brainwashed like that because of why?
Exactly.
It doesn't say.
Who could even say? And it's just like, hey, and this is the same problem with Perfidia. I'm like, why do you like this? What about this are you actually attracted to? Sean Penn and Perfidia and all of them, just like, what are your actual desires? Like, you want to burn it down, or you want to be part of it? Or and exploring that would have been something that actually meant something. But no.
I mean, that one I could see at least she's like subconsciously attracted to the system.
Sure.
And the rigidity of if Sean Penn wasn't such a
but he's such a dumbass.
Character.
Yeah. It's just like,
No, that was by far
Homer
a career
stuff.
worst for Sean Penn, I would say. Like,
in a series of things that are, he's done some serious scenery chewing.
Comparable to Will Ferrell at a career worst.
Yeah. No. And the literal scene chewing on Sean Penn's part with the mouth tics. Again, it's as if, okay, why are you showing this? Did you notice that? Did you notice the character choice? Yeah, we couldn't help but not notice it.
Did you notice his crazy walk?
His walk.
Oh, yeah,
right.
the walk, the
Stick
upright
up your
walk.
ass. We get it. Like, it was so dumb. It's just like, hey, how about if you were a badass who who then lived this other life? And then he and Leo, or Pat, Bob, whatever, could actually have, there are no discernible villains in either of these films, in a sense, because Sean Penn and Leonardo DiCaprio should be similar. They're both guys who are living double lives, who have no discernible integrity. They're not committed to the cause. Their lives are the sum totals of their desires. They're not, they're not actually in, and then if we had explored that and how that they were similar, I really wish the daughter then would have sort of fulfilled her mother's karma and been like, man, fuck you both, and left Leo in the nearest town and drove off without anyone. She didn't need a father. That would be the real revolution, or whatever. But nothing goes anywhere. I'm just like, really, the Barbie and Ken stuff, it should have been them fighting each other tooth and nail, and then them realizing, we should be fighting Will Ferrell's goons because it's the corporation that created this whole stupid stratified system anyway.
It really starts again, I didn't like it the first time. I mean, I knew it was a mess, But this time I'm zeroing in on just why it's a mess. Like, for one thing, it's worse than I even remembered. I thought maybe I was just hard on it because I thought it would be funny or something. But I'm like, this is just the worst, most disjointed screed I've probably ever put on film. Like, this is real. Like, considering she did Little Women so flawlessly, it's just such a shocking, like, what the hell screenplay is this? You know,
where is it going? There's a rip in the space-time continuum. What's this real world like?
No.
Why is it still like absurd? Corporate guy wants money.
No,
like,
but again, I clued on it. My first capsule review was why, if in the real world, is Mattel like acting like, you know, absurdist buffoons? Like, where's the real world in this? You know, where's the hypocrisy? Where's the woman who's in charge, who's actually just still getting coffee for the men in a sense? I mean, there was nothing. They're just. I could do a better feminist film, and I'm hardly part of the cause. You know, I'm like, this is not a very good film. It's just weak. It's so weak-kneed about the corporate interests.
Yeah,
and it's
because they're
And here's the thing.
You know, a Mattel motion picture. Mattel presents the Barbie feminist movie.
Yeah.
Like, and the worst of it is, Roseanne, you got to explain it to me, because I still just want to start smashing, you know, bar stools through windows. Why was this a $1.5 million smash?
Billion.
Yeah, sorry.
1.5 billion.
Dr. Evil here.
Enough to fund a small third world country.
Yeah, no, $1 billion smash. And I'm like, what kind of Dionysian witchcraft was performed on the population at large?
What did we miss? It was like, I mean, it was like they were handing out Soma that day, and we just missed it. So, you know.
Well, again, what drives me crazy is there are really great feminist movies out there. And
Little Women.
Little Women is 100% on my list as one of them.
Hey, would Winter's Bone be one of those?
Okay, shut up, nerd. Maybe I wrote in my notes, leave no trace. But for the sake of one battle after another, I am also really sick of daughters who don't seem to be in any way molded by their surroundings. I'm like, are you telling me that she wouldn't be weird? She just seems like some kind of regular girl. I'm like, you're not telling me she wouldn't be like the leave no trace girl who has a hard time like fitting in with other kids and maybe like way too aggressive when it comes to karate. And you know, you're telling me she and her dad wouldn't be smoking weed together like Hunter S. Thompson shooting shit in the backyard. And again, it's such a scared little idea of like what it is to be a father and a child. It's like you're not showing what that guy would really be like as a parent and what she would really be like as a daughter.
Well, and for those of us that have been in those kind of areas,
for sure,
Arcata, California, or the Pacific, you know, Northwest, Ashland, blah blah blah,
or Malheur County,
there you go. I mean,
no, they seemed like strangers to me, and it's just like,
well, again, and she's
just a cut above hillbilly in a way.
Yeah,
I mean, I hate to use that term,
and her friends were, I mean. The scenes with the friends were actually funny.
They were fine.
I'll give them that.
Well, they were. They were closer
but
to
it seemed very conventional, like a Disney show.
Yeah.
Like she's got Disney show friends, a Disney show tranny friend. She's got a Disney show, you know, Latino boyfriend. Yeah. It's all Disney.
Although I bought his like sort of empty-eyed like.
No, that was fun. But, some good lines.
All of them.
The line about, do I look like your father to you, or kind of, or whatever.
Dude, you're kind of aggro.
Yeah, some good lines, but they still seemed a little cutesy considering she's like living in this paranoid life.
Yeah.
You know. And
she's out there in the, you know, living it out in the, let's face it, Northern California is a weird place filled with, you know,
it is.
filled with weirdos. No,
I've written
know.
a script about such places.
So I did resent her sort of conformity to it. And anyway, and so when it comes to...
you could argue that kids, she might have a natural... I mean, you could argue that she's a conformist. You know, it doesn't...
You could. But in that case, then that should be of note. Like, I wish he was going around being like, I can't believe my own daughter, which would really be like a dad, is such a conformist.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like...
Well, it would have made her when she becomes battle hardened a lot more interesting. For sure.
For sure.
If the trappings of the world come off of her, I mean, That's my problem with the film in the end. Is it like, what? Wait, what?
Well,
You're going to
as-
like, oh, we're gonna have cell phones together. Like this
Yeah.
experience taught you nothing.
Yeah,
Right.
did you not learn? Did you not? You know?
Right. And if it, again, I
I mean,
deeply resented that. And think about the daughters, the daughter in Barbie was a complete missed opportunity.
Oh,
I'm like,
well, she starts
that-
strong, and then
she
okay,
has
you
one
said your
scene.
piece. Disappear now.
Disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she's just like being supportive of her mom, another non-starter as a character. Like,
horrible. Like
what the
this
shit
time
is that
around, I just couldn't even
character?
like what. This is so
you never
disjointed.
Feel any earned moments, just like the whole
Zero.
brainwashing thing. When America Ferrera gives her heart and speech, and they snap out of it. Now you got to say that to all the other Barbies to snap them out, but you never feel like, okay, you know. What is it? You know, you can only know true joy if you've known true sorrow, and none of these characters have really gone through anything.
No.
Well,
Any
and
kind of
they
crisis, it just
never
feels-
ask the question, what did these Barbies, what was the feeling they got from these Kens that made them make that change? It's not as though women get nothing from men, and they refuse to acknowledge that through the entire film.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you're not going to engage with that, what's the point?
But it was so many of the tired cliches,
Oh,
get my
forget
beer,
it.
rub my feet.
Sure.
Oh, let's talk about the Godfather. And what is that? I mean, that wait.
That just seemed like sour grapes on Greta
That
Gerwig.
did seem like sour
I was like,
grapes.
okay, that was a bad
Absolutely.
date you had, because honestly,
was-
I've been mansplaining The Godfather to anyone who would listen for the
Well,
last 20 years.
Yeah, I think it transcends
You know,
any of
if
that. But
I'd
yeah.
have been fine if she pulled Die Hard. I'd say fine. If it
Yeah.
was Die Hard or something.
Get a
but
guy
The
movie.
Godfather. So you're just mad because The Godfather's great.
No, here
I
you go.
did
Here's
like-
what you do. Here's what you do. I mean, you have the Three Stooges. Because, I mean, if anything divides the sexes, it's always been the Three Stooges.
Damn
What
it
woman
if you
has ever
aren't right,
said,
Alex, because I'm always like,
I mean, that's been my experience. Most of the women I know,
Yeah,
oh,
but
turn
it's
those-
too modern, or it's too
I suppose,
old
but
timey
something-
a reference. You know,
if it's but some modern equivalent, like, oh God, turn those assholes off, or turn that jerk off. I can't stand.
Right.
I can't
Right.
think of anything right now, but.
well, I think Cheech
yeah.
and Chong. I don't know
Cheech
an
and
actual
Chong.
girl
I
who
don't-
thinks Cheech and Chong is actually
Yeah.
funny. But I did like the Rob Thomas thing. I thought Let Me Play My Guitar at You was moderately funny. But the fact that it's used as this whole way for, again, women to be passive aggressive and manipulative, as and view it as
that's
a
another.
strategy.
Well, that's it jumped out
I
this time.
loathe that.
I mean, I'm like, what? This whole thing is just it's
Manipulative.
just completely dividing the sexes even more. This movie and like, what is this movie accomplishing? It just
Right.
it really is. So all the jerks out there, and you know who you are, defending this movie and calling me cisgender because I didn't understand it. You got no point. You have
It's an
no
old
point
argument.
to defend this movie other than you just want to get down women's pants. That's it.
Exactly.
It's
man.
it's an age-old story, Alan Alda. You know,
I'm sorry, but that reminded me of being in college in the 90s. The
it's-
so-called white male feminist. It's like, oh my God, you couldn't
no,
be any more
but there's
obvious.
but on a
know.
screenplay level, there is nothing happening that's connecting the two. So her apologizing to Ken it's coming out of left field. This came out of
Nowhere,
left
yeah.
field. You know,
Well, it just and
you've
there's-
been
yes.
fighting him the whole time, and then like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't acknowledge you. Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Right.
Exactly.
Well, and
There's
first
no
of all,
release. There was
how can
nothing
you
there to
have
be-
a movie about this with zero discussion of actual sex? Like they skirt around it in this really
Well,
strange
they can't
way.
have sex.
No, I know, but the fact
I mean, they
that no,
establish it, I suppose, in the beginning with I don't have a vagina. He doesn't have a penis.
I get it, but it's so
Yeah.
just like cute and irritating. It's just like you're taking a huge issue off the table here. You're disarming this whole thing. None of this has teeth.
Well, with Barbie and Ken being neutered, do you acknowledge that? I mean, would that have made it strong?
Well, then maybe, yeah, because then what is Ken's desire then?
right.
Like that's the thing. So it's just like if his penis didn't work, then that all like possibly should create this whole world for him. Like he should just be incredibly happy. And when he goes with her as a stooge, then he sees Stallone in a fur coat, and it's
Well,
just like,
that's the
what?
idea, right? That was the idea.
Except that he's not
but
happy.
it was never explored.
Right.
No, he's not happy. He's already dissatisfied. And so that's what I was thinking when I was watching this. I'm like, he's already dissatisfied. Why? If there's no sexual, if he feels no sexual urges and he really is just her cupbearer, then what is this conversation?
Let's back up a second. See, what Toy Story did just masterfully in the first 5 minutes is set up a world.
Correct.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure sets up a world. This
Correct.
movie starts to do it. You go, oh, but it's such a bad movie. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, and that's why it's shocking it came from her. Because I've seen Frances Ha, and I've seen what's the other one? I always forget the name of it.
Ladybird.
Ladybird.
Yeah.
They're fine. They're not great, but they're fine. They're solid movies.
And they're of a
character
type.
driven. They're character driven, and they at least set up their world and their character. This movie is so incompetent at setting everything up. Like, well, wait, so nothing works in this world, so it's all imaginary. So then, if that's the case, that's like being drunk or crazy. It doesn't matter. So immediately, there's no stakes in this world. We don't even set up that it's their job to please children. That's all. You know, Toy Story's like, we gotta please
immediately,
the kid. Like,
right?
You set up the world of that's our whole purpose is making sure that kid is happy. That's not even there. And so then this connection to, oh wait, my owner was really sad. That doesn't have any teeth.
No.
It doesn't have any weight. You're just like, well, things are just happening in this script. It's
Especially
just,
when you get to Weird Barbie's thing, and it's just all this, you know,
and that even
explanation
feels like
of
Toy Story.
I mean,
it feels like what's his face, the booger head in Toy Story. What's his Sid? So it feels like Sid, except not Sid. Like everything.
Right.
You know what it reminds me of, honestly, is Martin Short's performance in Father of the Bride. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
It's been a long time.
It just seems like he's playing Surge from Beverly Hills Cop, except he's not playing Surge. And you're like, what are you doing, Martin Short? That's probably Martin Short's. I mean, there's a couple times he's been in a dud, but that's the only time he truly deserved to, like, yeah, you suck, Martin Short. You don't deserve a movie career. Because it's not defined as to what are you doing. And the Barbie movie.
Anytime you're saying that Toy Story has more of an edge than this so-called like feminist film, then you're in a world of pain. But you're right. Like Weird Barbie should be like one of Sid's creations. Right. Let's face it, Sid and that entire scene of the weird toys in Toy Story is, first of all, creepy. And you know Sid immediately.
Yes.
You're like, I know that kid.
Yes.
And there's part of you that's been that kid or whatever, you know? And so that's genius. There is none of that. And of course we all had a weird Barbie, but it didn't seem like that. What is she? What is this? There's no actual weirdness. There's no edges. When you hear America Ferrera say, well, I'm dark and weird, you're like, the fuck you are.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Why do they have to seek her out? What's the point?
Right. Why is she like the Oracle at Delphi if she's
why
weird?
isn't she the booger that everybody hates and throws eggs at?
It's a great question.
I didn't
because
understand.
they refuse to take any accountability for that. What if Barbie is self-obsessed? What if these people, what if they're conformists? What if even in their own world of feminist, you know, like perfection, they are actually not seeing the big picture, which is why they're flawed as well. But they don't even go that far.
And again, bringing back Toy Story 3's Barbie and Ken was hilarious. And it made sense on both a masculine and feminine level. Because here's Ken, much more cleaner than this movie, which is, I expect, if you're going to rip something off, you might as well rip off, okay, you lent your name to Toy Story, rip that idea off that Ken's trying to fit with the boys, but what he really wants to do is dress fabulously, which was funny. And then Barbie appreciates, like, finally, so they get me, but there was no connection to that. So all the clothes changing, again, the clothes changing had no weight in the movie, and you'd think a movie about Barbie and Ken would be, and I mean, they did it, but it never had any, like, it's like she doesn't really understand the essence of Barbie. You know, like we talked about in, whatchamacallit, the video game movie, just, not Mortal Kombat. That whole movie just came out, directed by Jared Hess. Minecraft.
Oh, Minecraft.
Minecraft didn't acknowledge what you got to do in a video game to be better. It didn't highlight what's better. Same problem in Barbie. It's like you're not highlighting what it is girls want to do when they play with the Barbie, which is change those clothes, damn it.
You got it. You got it. Create scenarios where you can change their clothes. Like it's not rocket science.
And I don't know if this touches on anything, because I didn't play with Barbies. I had G.I. Joe. But
they're supposed to be played together, Alex. Damn.
I suppose they were. But I had to turn to my wife because she was a big Barbie fan. She was the girly girl that had the Barbies. And when they show some of the fashion accessories, I said, "Did you have any of those?" And she goes, "No, most of my Barbie clothes were made by my Aunt Jean." And I thought, well, that's an interesting take. Because it was like that's something that they could have explored. See, I don't know. Either you had the accessories or you had that creative family member, or
weird Barbie should have had those Aunt Jean's clothes.
Yeah, just like handmade.
Poor.
Yeah,
You're poor. Yeah. No, that's the thing. There was no flaw whatsoever in any of the Barbies, and
I couldn't believe it.
Doggedly stuck to that rule. So all the Ken, all the men, all the Rambo and the fur. I laugh at the fur coats. Why? You got to laugh at a fur coat. So there's some things that were kind of funny. That was one of them. But every stereotype about men was not met, and was not met. Let me finish the thought. Was not met with the female characters. So there was no stereotypes where they had to take accountability for the things they do wrong. There was
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So there's no actual reckoning. So there's no actual point to this entire film. Like that's the thing. If they were being honest too, it's just like I wasn't a girly girl and I loved Barbie. But I was also, let's face it, our mom was not buying me a ton of Barbie clothes, right? Yeah. And so there's something about Barbie that's also about status and how much, money your parents get and how much they're willing to buy their children thing. And this goes back to capitalism and corporations, and they never bring that up.
Well, I'm going to admit something very fruity about me, that I like buying Barbies for my daughter,
Sure.
And like I think they are a well-made, attractive toy. They are. They're like as much as I like buying Star Wars figures and stuff, I like shopping for Barbies was kind of a bit of fun because they're so big and glamorous. And I gotta say it, I hate to say it, but they're fuckable looking. They just are. So they missed that point in that movie. And that's another thing I don't like about the movie is this hodgepodge of ugly looking women. Like this makes no sense. Because Barbie, if anything, should have played. Yeah, you can have the diversity because you have to have it. But why wasn't Margot Robbie computer generated AI cloned for like at least every other character? Because most Barbie dolls look the same.
That's the big joke.
Yeah.
Again, because just like, Barbie, the thing is it's not even diversity, just like the Barbie dolls are diverse. And as you know, the famous story about my mom or whatever is that she only allowed me to have one white Barbie. Yeah. And so if I had any other I had a Polynesian Barbie, a black Barbie, and a Chinese Barbie. And if I wanted to buy another white Barbie, I had to pay it with my own money. Anyway, the point is, but they were all completely gorgeous. And what is that saying? And also with the fuckable, it's just like there's not one girl who didn't do something sexual with her Barbie. And why are they not acknowledging this? So it's capitalism, it's sex, it's all these things.
That leads me to the other disjointed piece of crap, which is the 2001 Beginning. Which is like that. What are you trying? You're saying it's sexual. You're saying they're saying it visually, but they're not saying it in an intelligent way that connects to the rest of the movie.
For sure.
Because the whole thing is, smash the baby dolls, out with the baby dolls, in with the sexy doll, right? But where is that isn't your usually like a topic sentence, your opening theme sets you up. The movie's called Star Wars. Star Destroyer. Big, giant, awesome Star Destroyer flies by. The movie's called Star Wars. We know what the movie's about.
If we were being serious, right?
The movie's not about the sexualization of the doll. But there's Helen Mirren narrating it. Sexy Helen Mirren.
Sure.
swinging 60s Helen Mirren talking
You'll
about
never get over it.
the introduction of sex into a young girl's life.
Well, and what they needed to say was they theoretically changed one form of objectification for another. And they don't even have the balls to say that, even though that is what that scene is saying.
Well, there's
We're
all
no
these
longer
lines
moms.
but there's all these
sexy
chicken
now.
shit lines like, well, if you want to be a mom and we can't even do that, and there's all this stuff like, what are you crying about? What's this movie? What's your point in this movie? Because America Ferrera says that, even if you want to be mom, we can't even do that well enough.
We can't even talk about our kids too much. Well, and then Rhea Perlman made this line, rotten hell, talking about how we deal with how it's difficult to be human by creating things like the patriarchy. I'm like, what? Not because of control? What the fuck? You just get to say that? I'm sorry. I was just like, that isn't talk about feminism. I'm just like, are you serious? This shouldn't be called feminism. This shouldn't even be called apple pie. This is bullshit.
You talk about being hit over the head with a hammer the entire movie.
Yeah, but a hammer that's not even a hammer.
I don't know what it was, but it was just so, I mean, if we played a drinking game, every time I hear the word patriarchy, I wouldn't have got through the movie. Like, here we go again,
It was pretty hard to finish it the second time, I'll tell you. I was like,
I was like looking at my phone and being like,
it's awful.
I had to do that.
I just said, I cannot believe this movie, this disjointed, visually uninteresting. I'd say the Barbie world in the beginning had some visual interest, but after
for like a second.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. Is the movie for kids? I don't know. I don't even know who this movie is for.
I think they were pointing it towards young teenage girls.
I suppose because of all the bright colors and that feel of like a really bad Disney movie.
It does feel like that, but I thought she was trying to turn that on its ear, but she doesn't. She isn't. Pee Wee Herman's. We originally, when I was back in the day in 2023, we were going to compare it to Pee Wee's Big Adventure, because they have some similarities. But no, it doesn't do what Pee Wee Herman does, which is appeal to kids and be for adults as well. It's just a big screed. It's a big standing on its soapbox screed that doesn't make any sense.
What worries me is that this. Oh, sorry, Alex.
No, it's okay. We forget the fact that she co-wrote this with Noah Baumbach.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it's like, what happened there?
Well, that's the title of this podcast.
The squid and the whale.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. And
wait a minute. The guy that did the squid and the whale.
Look at Squid and the Whale.
Yeah.
Laura Linney is just as responsible for that divorce as Jeff Daniels.
Yeah,
a brilliant
there are no
movie
winners.
There are no
winners in that movie.
One of my favorite movies ever.
And the victims are the children.
We haven't discussed it yet, but that's a genius movie. And here's the problem: this movie lazily takes the side of the girls. Just that's it. It just takes. And then one battle
after another.
There it is.
But when an artist starts, I don't know.
Look at David Letterman. Look at The Simpsons. Look at anything that was good.
But it's not even about stop trying. It's about you need us to know this about you. And that's almost why I put in there, they were both raised Catholic. I'm just like, stop trying so hard to get away from who you are. Like maybe, your gift is maybe seeing or exploring these stories, caring enough about the truth of humans to explore their stories. That's why, Boogie Nights is a great film, because in the end, it's not about, even in the beginning, it's not about sex. It is about money and the saddest people on, how sad people are trying to get money and how they'll do it however they can, and confusing money for love and, all these things. And it doesn't matter. Just this, kaleidoscope of stories. And that's usually what Paul Thomas Anderson excels at. And when he doesn't, it's just the most disappointing thud, because there's enough cool stuff in this movie, all of Benicio Del Toro stuff, a lot of the ice stuff, and all the immigration stuff I thought was done like what a great pace and really cool. And
Sean Penn really needs to take acting lessons from Benicio Del Toro.
For
because
sure.
look at
For
Benicio
sure.
Del Toro getting arrested, which
Yeah.
like that was like who can make a scene of getting arrested seem like a masterstroke, and he did it. Just that look in his face that he enjoys the game, like
Yep.
Exactly.
Like-
Have you had a few drinks? I've had
Small beers.
Small beers.
He was terrific, and from scene one all the way through. With that guy he's up there now with Once Upon a Time. He just took Josh Brolin's place. I can't forgive Josh Brolin for that stupid TV show.
Yeah, well, let's hope that
And
You
the
know,
Del
autobiography,
Toro keeps
and-
that.
But Benicio Del Toro.
Remember, he did the Wolfman, but that's okay.
Okay, but
now-
Wolfman at least is like weird. Like you're
Yes,
like,
it
this
was.
is a weird movie.
Weird's a
It
way
was
to
a
put
weird
it.
movie.
Yeah.
If crappy is weird,
And with him, crappy was weird. But anyway.
But can I say
he's
one more
reached
thing
the
here
pinnacle.
before we move on? But
Yeah.
you mentioned The Simpsons earlier, and I think it's ironic that what Barbie tries to tell us in 2 hours, The Simpsons did in 22 minutes with Lisa
Malibu
versus
Stacy.
Malibu Stacy.
Malibu
Exactly.
Stacy.
One of the
For
great
sure.
episode from the feast,
Yeah.
and it was like, wow, you talk about the objectification of women, about the corporate mindset,
yeah.
and even the creator Stacey Lovell, who you think is on the same level with Lisa, but oh no, she's all about the mighty dollar herself.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
hilarious, and
Yeah.
it's and it's beautifully done. 22 minutes, boom! It says everything it has to say, without beating you over the head. But
Yeah.
this movie can't do it.
I think it's just this stroke of luck that those two made so much money with that movie, because I just think they were. To me, I imagine them just banging their head against the wall trying to make
I'm
this work.
asking my wife, who's the CPA, like, you tell me, you know money better than I do. What would possess people to throw down, $1.5 billion to see this movie?
My fear is that girls see themselves in this movie. And that bums me out to the max.
Well, the modern
So-
girl, I can't imagine in the 80s or 90s this being a hit. I just can't imagine that people would have, the mindset, they've just been so indoctrinated by the corporate social media world that this is what they accept as reality. And
Okay, but then we do also have to talk about One Battle After Another. I'm like, what is that movie saying? Like, okay, if Barbie is saying patriarchy is bad, fundamentally isn't One Battle After Another just being like, well, racism is bad? Like, it's about as simple.
yeah,
I
And
suppose,
and
but
it's as
it-
unfortunate.
Yeah,
Like,
I
no
walked away
shit.
from that. I walked away from that movie with the same feeling I had when I saw Do the Right Thing, and I'm like, okay, I'm confused as to what the message is. Yes, racism is bad, but I don't get what you're trying to send. I mean,
Do
Well,
the right
one-
thing is a lot more focused, though, I think. Like,
but here's
I
the problem.
suppose it
Here's
is,
the problem
but
with
I
One Battle
still-
After Another. It's probably rooted in the book. Again, you've read the book of Vineland.
not all of it.
I
but
can't
I've been-
speak to this, but my feeling is it's a dated book
It is.
and a dated theme that doesn't apply to racism today. So you're looking at it going,
it doesn't
this,
deal with it. It
this-
doesn't. No, and I
but
don't think
this-
that even comes into the fold.
This idea of this Sean Penn Christmas Adventurers Club,
Yeah.
this is such. I would just have written it if it's in the book. I would have written that out, because that is
Yeah.
the problem with this film. It's
It's a
so
clunker.
dumb. It's
Yeah.
so over the top dumb,
Mhm.
and it undermines Sean Penn's character completely. Like, and he doesn't even go for revenge at the end. You think, okay, those white supremacists, they're gonna pay now. No.
You know,
And
those are the guys
it
that
makes
shot half
his
my
character
face off.
so
Yeah.
stupid that he even falls for it. Like, I don't get this. This is just this is the problem. The film. I don't know if there's a film without it, but it desperately needed to be rewritten because it doesn't
Again,
apply.
There is a film if we see, him and Bob, the world's most hapless guy, with this guy who basically wants his life in a sense, but just on the other side of the fight.
Yeah.
Then it's more, but you don't even see that kind of a desire.
But see,
That's
like,
what I
look
mean.
at There
Like,
Will
they're
Be
so
There Will Be Blood
undermotivated.
has a fist fight between two evenly matched foes. This movie
Yes,
is not evenly
not
matched
that,
because
no.
DiCaprio's too weak and Sean Penn's too stupid.
Yes.
So the fist fight, the boxing match between the two irresistible force and immovable object doesn't work because his characters are too dumb.
Which
and
sucks
underwritten.
because you think about The Master and you think, what a brilliant film about what it really is to need to be worshipped and to need to be in a cult, basically, and what that symbiotic relationship looks like.
Yeah.
And that film does it.
Yeah,
in the most amazing way. So this is just like such a mouth-dropping miss that it makes. I mean, it defies logic.
Well, it's not like the film did. I will say this: the film did stick with me much more than say Barbie did.
Yeah.
Well, that's a fact, considering I forgot every single Will Ferrell scene.
I forgot Will Ferrell's even in it. Like, oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Until you said it, I was like, oh,
well, now I was reminded watching and going, oh my God, what? And again, just a lazy variation on what he played in the Lego movie.
Sure,
like,
absolutely.
You know, like, geez Louise, they didn't even get somebody interesting.
Right.
You know, but forget about that. But no, but One Battle After Another is not Barbie in the sense that I still would probably watch it again. But I bought all the illegal alien stuff because it was done naturally. I like things that take the world as it is. And
that's what Paul Thomas Anderson usually does.
Yeah.
So that's those parts I thought were so cool. And like I said, I love the skateboarders. Just like it's World War III, and them just hopping around and just
that
their
was cool.
silhouettes.
Very cool.
Running across the rooftop is still, I could watch that scene over and over. Just great. And I mean, the pace of that movie, I will say, I was not bored.
No,
with
not
One
for a
Battle
second.
After Another. The initial car chase through Sacramento. I mean, it was like, wow, short and sweet, but tense.
Yeah.
And like a real car chase, it's, it's not a matter of acrobatics behind the wheel. It's, you don't care who's in your way. You're going to get the heck out of there.
I thought all that was cool. I thought the logistics of them actually, like what they would be doing when they're bombing shit and just where they would be. I thought all of that was cool until she gets in with Sean Penn. And I was just like, that scene could have been a lot more tense and interesting if Sean Penn wasn't such an idiot. And
because in the book, she is attracted to him.
Sure,
she does.
Fine.
And
Why wouldn't I get it?
She is. Yeah, she is, and she does go into witness protection, but she stays with him until she disappears at some point. I mean,
sure.
I don't think I'm giving anything away.
No, I like the idea that she's attracted to him. Like, why wouldn't she?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's all fine. That makes sense.
It's fine, except the scene doesn't work.
Right.
Their first scene together when he gets the hard on doesn't work. It's like, this doesn't work.
He should be cooler.
Is that in the book?
A better looking guy?
No, Alex.
I know that he's older.
Is it in the book?
Oh, what?
The first scene where she makes him get a hard on at gunpoint, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense physically or even just as a plot point. It's like, this is dumb.
Even if he did.
I don't remember it being in there.
I don't mind that he's Sean Penn. I think Sean Penn is fine looking, and he can be, when he's not overacting, again, which is almost never, he could just have stood there and been in command and been cool, and she would have been into him, and I would have been like, okay, that happened, that's cool. Right. And then their relationship would have just gone forth.
It's an illogical scene. This is in the heat of the moment, it seems like she wouldn't stop to do that. There's any number of military guards or whatever who could just shoot her. It just seems, it's just a dumb scene. It's a dumb, poorly written scene is what it is.
It's poorly written. And honestly, I hate to say this, but it's poorly directed.
Yeah.
And it's an unfortunate scene that's what starts it off, because I'm just like, the fact that she's with both of these dudes, that she has the capacity, opens up this possibility that she's this, Fink. And then she automatically becomes a way more interesting character. But because you don't see that with either of those relationships, you don't. Where are we going with it? Mm-hmm. What are we saying about humans? What are we saying about desires and what does it mean for her to be a revolutionary who's attracted to this? And what does it mean for, and just sad sack Leonardo DiCaprio. And again, what about him makes him want to be a dad? Like, none of these connect. I would say in that sense, character-wise, it's as discombobulated as Barbie.
I wouldn't go that far. I mean, Barbie
I'm
to
going
me
that
is.
far.
You're gonna say as discombobulated?
In terms of the characters and their connections and what they mean to each
I
other
think
and
they're
how
a
they're
problem. I think
interwoven.
there's an inkling, at least with one battle after another. I can sort of buy that it happens.
I have to provide it myself.
Yeah, but at least it's there. It's inherent in the text, basically, or in the cinematography. Like
Okay, I'll give it that.
And the casting, at least. Whereas Barbie, there is just no. I mean, I can only believe that Barbie and Ken are a couple because of years of knowing they're a couple, not because of anything in this movie.
All right.
Like, so what are they even fighting about? As we've established, like, I don't get why he's fighting. I don't get why he's the pest. I mean, he's a pest.
He is.
Like, that's a new thing, and that's just like the new 21st century girls. Oh, boys are so dumb. Like, wait a minute. Ken's always been the dreamboat. That Barbie, they again. As I already said it. Michael Keaton and whoever in Toy Story 3 just did it much better. Like,
also, when she has that moment where she is exhausted and she lets down her Barbie face, kind of, that says more about how exhausting it is to be on all the time than anything in Barbie.
I don't even remember what you're talking about. In Toy Story 3?
In Toy Story 3?
Yeah.
What happened? I don't.
Maybe it's in the final. She has kind of like a moment where her facade slips. And you see, it always reminds me of Miss Yvonne on Pee-wee's Playhouse, where she snaps one time and just starts applying lipstick to her whole face. Barbie has a little moment like that where she's like, oh, well, never mind. And then goes back to being Barbie. And it's funny.
I don't remember. I don't even remember it. It's been a while. Anyway. All right.
All I'm saying is I feel like the characters are there set up for one battle after another, and a lot of them are played by compelling actors, so I would have liked to have seen more, but it didn't happen.
I agree. Again, I would say it's 75% a good movie with a destructive 25%.
I say 50% a good movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd say Sean Penn kills the whole movie. That's
a problem. And I was thinking too.
But is he 50? He's not 50% of the movie.
He is. He's absolutely 50%. That story.
He doesn't feel like 50%.
He's the whole reason the daughter is taken. He's the whole reason for the second half.
Maybe you're right. You're right. Okay. Yeah, bad choice.
It's a bad choice.
Now I wonder, would the character have worked as written with Bruce Greenwood or somebody that I like who could have played the part? Or would the character still not work and it'd still be a turkey?
Okay, so I don't think the character would have worked anyway, but I think it could have been more successful. I mean, your boyfriend Bruce Greenwood at least wouldn't have done all those annoying, like, see what I'm doing here, like Alex said, ticks that Sean Penn does. And so we could have taken him seriously, potentially more as a guy who's important, who's serious.
Yeah,
and I would have liked.
It needed a guy who looked like an all-American who is a bit wacko,
Yeah,
and not Sean Penn.
Again,
and Sean Penn, fine. He looked again. He looked fine, but he just automatically brings in his stupidity.
Yeah.
Well, he does bring in some baggage. I mean, that's the unfortunate thing.
Well, yeah.
And I don't.
But I go
politics,
back to Licorice Pizza, where I thought he was miscast.
I thought he was at least better in that than he was in this.
I agree.
I think he, but now he's always getting miscast, in my opinion, because who wants him?
I don't know. I'm not arguing there, but no, he was woefully out of place in this movie.
Well, watch him get nominated for an Oscar, of course.
Oh God, please!
You know that'll happen.
Fine.
And
fine. Sure.
Right.
Let the little Barbie world nominated stupid little Barbie
probably
no.
will.
That's to me like the world to which that film was pandering by the end. I'm just like, this could have been, Strom Thurmond has a black daughter. Like, this could have been something where we really talk about this. If you're going to make it as simple as racism, am I right? Then at least let's get into it.
Yeah, well, there's another
that
thing.
was- yeah.
There's another thing. That's why this Christmas Club didn't work for me at all. Because it's like, this is just such a simplistic idea of racism.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm like,
Like,
again,
they're
where's
all
the
just-
money?
They're all just Nazi racists. Like,
Yeah.
it's a little more complicated than that.
A little bit right.
Yeah.
You know?
No.
That's why I love Inherent Vice when, again, Mickey Wolfman, Eric Roberts' Jewish character, is being guarded by white supremacists.
The white supremacists. Yeah. It's a lot more complicated.
Yeah.
Because in the real world, it's more complicated. Than you
and
think.
it's about who's paying whom, honestly,
This does
and
feel-
the CIA and the FBI
this-
and everything.
Does feel like this is Naked Gun to Inherent Vice's Top Secret. This is just the broader version of it, don't you think?
That's what I definitely.
Yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
told Alex before, and I told you a lot. It's just like Leonardo DiCaprio and Sean Penn are no Joaquin Phoenix and Josh Brolin.
Josh
Right.
Brolin.
They're just and the characters, of course, aren't written nearly as beautifully anyway, but for sure it felt like that.
And maybe I wonder. Okay, here's a question, because Inherent Vice, he follows the book much more closely.
Okay.
As he said with Vineland, he said, I started with the idea and I ran with it.
Yeah,
I mean,
read
Vineland
that.
is dated because it takes place in '84. It after Reagan's second reelection, the whole war on drugs, is sort of in the background, but also coming out of the '60s, the Nixon era. So there's that whole thing going on. But I don't think there's anything about race ever mentioned in that book. We just assume everyone is Caucasian. And she's, I think, known as Frenesi, not Perfida in the book. And she is not the aggressor. I think the Lockjaw character, who in the book is called Brock Vaughn, and there's a name. I mean, when you hear a name like that, Brock Vaughn, I mean, that is such an all-American type name.
Lockjaw is just so. I thought it had to have been from the
It's just a
book
little
because
too, no,
it's
it's
such a
not.
stupid name.
It's just a little too. Yeah, again, it's just a little too obvious.
It's
Where,
stupid.
Like Brock Vaughn.
It's a lot
would've
too
worked.
obvious.
Brock Vaughn is such a, that
Brock.
name, it's like
That
Chest
name should
Rockwell.
be, that name should be
Yeah.
satirized early and often. That would have been funnier.
Yeah. But he comes after Frenesi in the book. The Brock, the Penn character, I guess, if that, to help our listeners follow along. She's not the aggressor like she is in the movie, but she falls for the guy. In the book, it's like, ooh. And maybe because, what she's not getting from the Bob character, the Leonardo DiCaprio character, is some machismo.
Which
that's
is
what,
pretty
that,
much,
okay, so
I
that's
was
what
like, that makes sense.
That's
And that's what Barbie needed.
Well, I was about to. I was
Yeah.
just about to
Sorry.
say that, Roseanne. I was just
That
about to say
potency. Why?
That's
Yeah.
what at
sorry.
least is. There's at least a tangible shred of a romantic triangle that I can understand in One
Yeah.
Battle of an After. That's the difference between
No.
Barbie. With Barbie, I look at it and go, I don't even understand what they're talking about. Honestly, I don't understand.
No.
Like, I don't understand what the conflict is between Barbie and Ken. I don't understand what connection she's actually trying to make, other than she just wants to shit on boys for 2 hours,
Yeah.
Which just seems like the easiest thing in the world to do. Like that,
Sure.
That's easy,
Right. and to act
I don't
like
know.
that women, again, don't want anything from men or the opposite sex ever, or these kinds of things, or that nothing is fulfilled in those relationships, is such an easy, annoying way to start and finish a film. I'm just like,
Yeah.
and again, it's this very simple idea too of that feminism is anti-man. I'm like, in no way is it. That's just dumb. But when you show it like that, of course it seems, those are the broadest strokes ever. And again, once you also say that all men in power are just racist, I'm like, sure. But it's also these shades of shame and weirdness and curiosity and control and all this other stuff that with that Christmas Adventurers Club is horseshit. And that a big underground bunker I thought was really like overplayed. I don't know. I was just really disappointed.
Yeah. Well, the
That's all there is to it.
the gassing and burning. Oh, Nazis!
Yeah.
Like this
No.
is just
Gee,
so
that's
dumb.
like- again, why don't you just say patriarchy? Get it
Yeah.
over with.
For sure.
Take another drink. Take another drink.
Well, again, it's just like, why are you both pretending again that you're not doing this? And like these almost political beliefs are corporate.
I wonder what it is. I wonder what. Okay, Paul Thomas Anderson. I don't know. I'd be very curious as to why. Hey, dude, why'd you suck so hard?
I don't know.
Like, what got into you to make that move?
I hate to say it. Is it Maya Rudolph kind of getting that worm in his brain? Like, why don't you do something, more topical for once?
I don't know.
Share your vision.
But it's not like she's been out there like Perfidia shooting off. She makes Bridesmaids movies. I mean, her best movie is still Idiocracy.
Idiocracy, exactly.
Yeah,
but still, I don't know. I'm speculating. I'm being presumptuous.
No, I know. I just because it does feel like I do feel like a little bit like you're onto something. Like in both cases, Noah Baumbach's like, well, my wife or girlfriend, whatever their relationship is, she's signing on to do Barbie. I might as well just give them what they want.
Might as well get them what they want.
Okay, well, how do I do this stupid idea?
I just, all I can think of is Dean Martin from Back to School. It was a very large check. I could just hear that discussion. Why, Greta? Well, did you see the size of that check?
I think to their credit, they took the job and said, well, let's do something, a real barn burner. Let's do a real feminist movie on Barbie. But either they are fooling everybody and just taking the money and running, or they really aren't that smart. And that's the troubling question. Like,
but that's the thing.
But I want to think that they
made one
are
of the
smart.
greatest movie, probably the quintessential movie about divorce.
Yeah.
Like, this
and he
is
really
the best
understands
movie.
Being a parent and being a child. I'm sorry. I'm just like, the Meyerowitz Stories, again, is another film that means a lot to me. I'm just like, even when his films don't land perfectly, there's still something in them. Like, I like Greenberg and, all this kind of stuff. And I just think Greta Gerwig, too. I'm just like, let's consider ourselves scientists. Like, if we're looking at all the data, there's no precedent for this kind of miss.
It's not a miss. And the joke is it's not a miss.
Well, it's a miss ideologically and artistically.
But they are being lauded and awarded and given awards and monies and for making the stupidest movie possible. And it's like, I don't know. It's such a head scratcher.
Well, and alternately, I feel this way in terms of Paul Thomas Anderson's discussion of race. I'm like, never in any of his films, which are all pretty diversely cast, except maybe Phantom Thread and I guess Punch Drunk Love. But I'm just like, has there ever been that level of just like obvious pandering stupidity?
Yeah. Well,
and
the mother, again, he had some good. He had some good touches. The mother, Perfidia's mother, was a great touch. The house and the attitude was. Unlike Barbie, he still had his semblance of his old self in the movie.
Well, all of Benicio Del Toro and all those actors the immigrant stuff were great.
And that's why I think this movie is heads and shoulders above Barbie. It's not heads and shoulders above.
Sure, but I'm just saying.
Because we still get some of that. We still get those flashes of Paul Thomas Anderson brilliance. I didn't get any of that in Barbie. No. Again, like if I go back to Little Women and just am floored by what a flawless, sublime, beautiful movie. It doesn't matter where you stand on the spectrum in terms of your politics or am I a proto-feminist or am I just a, dyed-in-the-wool misogynist? It doesn't matter.
Character driven.
It shouldn't matter anyway.
It shouldn't.
And that's the thing about Inherent Vice and Licorice Pizza. They're still very character driven movies so that you can enjoy you can enjoy any scenario if you buy the characters. And that's what Benicio Del Toro's whole thing, I'm pretty conservative guy. I'm not for illegal immigration. I'm like, this works. I buy this as his day-to-day life. That's fine.
Yeah.
You know,
Everything he did with his like relaxed shoulders and just sliding
exactly,
in
and
all
just his interaction
stuff,
with his
interactions
people.
with every
The
right
whole
on his
thing
phone.
with the phone.
Yeah,
Get off
I
the phone.
loved
Get out.
it.
Oh, you're always on the
no,
phone.
that
Yeah,
was
no,
all.
no.
That's what I expect from Paul Thomas Anderson, not
Same.
what Sean Penn did at all.
No.
Like,
Right.
I mean, if
No.
That's-
listeners, viewers, if you haven't gotten the picture, Sean Penn sucks.
Yeah.
He's
The
on
man's an
and he's on the
ass.
level now of
He's
Nick
just-
Nolte. As much as
Yeah.
I can't stand that motherfucker. He brings the show down every
Whoa.
time.
He is both Statler and whatever.
Young.
Rolled into one.
Waldorf.
Statler and Young.
Statler and
World.
Waldorf.
Or Statler and Young from SC. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
What is it?
Okay,
My
okay.
imagination. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, well, all right. So,
Well, and that to me is where Will Ferrell is heading. It's like when I see the name Will Ferrell, it's like grown.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, maybe
Barbie
not,
doesn't
just-
help because
No.
he will lazily take a paycheck and scream in a movie. For
Yes,
sure.
he will.
For sure.
He will.
That's a fact.
I just feel like.
so that was
and
a
he
really
did-
weird choice on her part. I'm just like, okay, maybe
I'm
she
sure.
really
I
just
would.
didn't give a
I would
shit.
bet you if she were here, if she joined our podcast, she'd say, "Hey, whoa, easy guys. The studio made me do that one. It just felt like
Maybe
Hey,
so.
the guy from the Lego movie.
But I think you
we
needed
have
somebody
to
with
sign
a-
Will Ferrell.
yeah,
You know,
a bit more gravitas, you know what I mean, in a
Yeah.
role like that. And, and just his commitment to the role, we see what, that's where the humor comes out. I don't know why, but I'd rather see someone like a Victor Garber in that role, at that right age where they can
And
bring
still,
something.
forget it. Forget the absurdist.
I'm just saying,
but
if I
we're
had
supposed to be in
to-
the real world.
And that's
Right.
the thing. There was no distinction between those
No,
two
it's
worlds.
stupid.
And it felt like, are you doing like a remake of A Brave New World? At least in that story, there's a distinction between, the perfect dystopia and the savage world. Which does feel more gritty. We don't
but
get that
see,
grit.
She tried to bring in this contrast, and then the contrast disappears the minute they get to
Disappeared.
Mattel because
Well, and the
Mattel
problem is
doesn't
there
have
is
the
no
balls
contrast.
to make fun of itself.
No.
And that's
Right.
that's all what it
No,
says to me.
that's
It's like,
it.
you just don't have the balls to actually be the corporate jerk offs that you are. You know?
Correct.
In the real world,
Like
felt
they
like,
tried
I mean,
for a second, but again, that was the big thing. I'm like, yeah, their corporate guys should be, like your Paul Reiser, Giovanni Ribisi type, and be cringe-inducing.
No, it should
or,
be all
whatever.
women. I would have gone all corporate women who are still backstabbing poor Barbie. I would have done it that way. Like, women are in charge.
You're right.
But they're not. Because remember, the guy says, we just hide it better. That's the one little nugget of
Right.
truth that is in that movie. And they take that idea and they just throw it away. Again. It's
Well,
like,
if they
they're-
really
they're
wanted to
saying
talk,
that-
if they really wanted to talk about the patriarchy, then they would have a boardroom full of women who still kowtow to corporate ideas.
Yes.
And that because
Which
that's
the
the
Simpsons-
ultimate patriarchy.
which even the
but
Simpsons
again,
did.
it's too
Yeah,
afraid to
crazy.
say that.
Yeah.
It's too
I
afraid
guess
to
the
say
closest
anything
thing-
about like money makes us a patriarchy. This system is what makes us. It refuses to talk about anything like that. Which is
mean,
why,
do you think
again,
that
by
she-
the time you get to
Oh,
Ken's
sorry.
world, they should have just been like shooting guns and having, road warrior
Orgies,
Yeah, exactly.
Orgies. I mean, come
No,
on, go for it.
exactly.
It's guys being guys.
You got
If
it.
you want, if you're gonna
Beef
go in that
jerky and
direction,
orgies.
I want Porky's. I want bachelor
Yeah.
party. If that's what you're
Yeah.
gonna do, to show
Yeah.
the contrast. I'm
Contrasted.
sorry. I'm sorry.
I love the
agree.
idea. There's the idea. There's if they're gonna rehash that for the sequel. There's your idea. Hey, Greta Gerwig. There's your idea. Road
There's your
Warrior.
idea, and
Road
just
Warrior,
remember us.
But,
Yeah.
but
I
let's
suppose-
acknowledge it was directed towards teenage girls.
I guess.
Okay,
don't
but
know.
it's time to radicalize teenage girls then. Like, let's go.
I'm just.
Like,
I mean,
tell teenage
let's
girls are
take
being
the
taken
Mall
advantage
America
of.
movie again. The good version is Toy Story 3. That's still very generically, happily directed towards Mall American parents and their kids. So so I'm not gonna say they needed to have blowjobs.
No. I mean, but
Sorry.
careful.
You can't even say
I
it.
can't do it. I can't
What
do
happened?
Because my heart gave out. My heart.
Beating like a rabbit. Oh,
No,
God.
they just didn't. I just think they can't go that far. That's fine. I mean, but it's still connect your screenplay. For
Yeah,
God's
connect
sakes,
your-
woman and man, you've written screenplays before. You've written good screenplays before. Do what you did before. Segue logically from one scene to the next, which they don't do.
Talk for a moment? Can we talk about the whole deal with Rhea Perlman? What was that supposed to be?
Oh,
I mean, I know it's
God,
supposed
I
to be.
don't know.
You
got
know,
me.
You know,
I
all
think
I
it's just
can think
supposed
of.
to be a personal punishment from God.
I don't know if it was, and if that was their way, like you're saying, if you're going to fill this, this board, fill it with women. Well, let's do the next best thing. That the ghost in the machine is still Ruth, whatever last name was, the woman that did create Barbie. But you could have. All I could think about watching that scene was Rita Moreno in
West Side
the
Story.
remake. Of,
West
in
Side
that
Story.
angelic light,
Yeah.
Like, I could do no wrong. You're like,
Interestingly, bringing up
oh.
one battle after another, the letter was a Rhea. So that's what I think. That's what inspired Roseanne to say, "Hey, let's do Barbie with it," because I said that letter reminded me of Barbie. It did. It's just that stupid letter. And
Well, that was the first thing besides Sean Penn. That was what I told you. It was like, oh, I hated the end. I'm just like, really, a letter? I wish again they couldn't just have the bravery that
videotape, Amazing Spider-Man. Remember in the '90s there was these sort of preponderance on, like, I always think of Maverick, where Guy and I just went, oh brother, because Maverick started with the middle of the movie.
Mel Gibson Maverick?
Yep. But it was just like a long line of movies that were starting in the middle. Well, here's where I am, and I was fucked. So we.
How did I get here?
Right.
Well,
right.
Well,
the 21st
partner.
century equivalent is this videotape that somebody watches Iron Man, The Amazing Spider-Man, like the cliche where the whole movie's summed up by a videotape or a video that they created. Hello world. This is me, I'm dead, but here's what I have to offer. That's the feel I got. Like, oh my God, you're really going to do this?
Again, which just pissed me off no end, because I'm like, if she's really hardcore, then she's hardcore enough to be like, yeah, I'm a rat, and yeah, I completely abandoned my daughter. And we just have to deal with that. And so does she. And I was like, what a complete cowardly cop out of just so fucking stupid.
No, there was no self-realization or no. It was like, wow. And apparently in the book, she yearns for Brock to come back and get her.
That
would have been even better.
That's
yearns.
interesting.
Here's the irony. So in the book, he comes to rescue her in a helicopter, and he's being funded. I think he's with the DEA.
Sweet.
And it's kind of a funny moment, because just as he's being lowered on the cable to rescue her, they get the message from headquarters, the government's pulling funding. We got to go. So the helicopter flies away. He never gets to her. So he tried. It's Thomas Pynchon.
Sure. I got it.
I know.
That's
so, but again,
do your Johnny Carson voice and say wacky.
It is wacky.
Yeah.
No,
it's a little
but
too wacky for my taste.
It is. Well, it's Thomas Pynchon. I mean, it is a wacky book.
I do
It is kind of
appreciate
an
the
absurd
idea
world.
of DEA funding, though.
Sure.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay,
No, it
now
does
we're
play on
getting
that.
somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, and
You're
just
getting
like,
and
it
there
could
is
have
no
worked
secret
in a
society.
post-Reagan world. Or
Did
it
you
could-
hear Alex though? He said there's no secret society.
Yeah, there's no secret society.
Good. Then
he's
then
just,
double dumbass on Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah,
he
for
he
sure.
wants to get her back,
yeah.
and he, and then he tries to commandeer the helicopter. It crashes. He dies. But I guess at the end of the book, she goes back to that site where he tried to rescue her in the hopes that he'll come back and get her.
Well, that
so
that
that
wouldn't have
she
worked
doesn't-
in the modern context, especially with
I suppose.
Teyana Taylor. I think that probably wouldn't have gone over well. But
Maybe
yeah,
not, but,
where's the daughter fit into that?
Find the spirit of that. Yeah, I don't know.
Where does the daughter fit into that story, though? Did she stay with Bob, or is that not even in the book?
Well, it's the daughter that goes back. Yeah.
Oh,
It's the daughter. Brock. He reveals.
I thought you
he
meant
reveals.
Perfidio is.
No, not for
Oh,
Me too.
I thought you were talking. That's
I think she eventually does disappear at some point.
Okay.
But,
Well, the daughter wanting her dad is kind of interesting.
no. He tries to rescue
That-
because he said, "I am your dad." He tries to rescue her.
Huh.
And then the helicopter pulls away. He tries to fight,
a good screenwriter will wrestle with that and make it work.
Made it something interesting. But no, the daughter, they go back to whatever bar in Vineland to celebrate, the victory and the death of Brock Bond. But she goes back to the site yearning for...
Okay,
well, that would have been a much better ending.
Interesting. That would have been ending. Yeah, like what did she want? What did she want again from Brock that she didn't get from Bob? Same as her mom. But there's that could have all been super interesting.
But anyone knows. I mean, in a situation like that, somebody that didn't grow up with a parent, had no knowledge. Okay. I think of my brother Aaron. My brother Aaron was only 2 when my father died. He has no memory of my father. He never talks about it. But I know that there is something inside of him that I think yearns or wonders.
Sure.
In the same sense, we could have seen that in this with her, where it just felt like, where is her allegiance? I mean, does she, when she finds out?
Well, that would have been an interesting ending, for sure.
Yeah. Because
maybe it would have been an interesting path for her. I mean, I don't feel like she's given a lot of agency, honestly. Back to feminism.
And especially if you're raised by a guy like Bob, where you watch this guy just medicate himself day in and day out.
Plus, if he is ignoring her and her, where is she getting this training? That's the thing. You're right, Roseanne. You're right. I didn't think of that. Like how she should be more engaged and more responsible. Well, she is going to karate. She is getting...
But that's it. Right, that's almost
like... Is that another missed opportunity there where you've got more of a father figure in Benicio Del Toro, because this guy at least seems to have it together.
Yeah.
Or her own parent... I would like the idea of her being like going ham in karate just because that's how she's always sort of been taught, or, something like this. But we don't even see that. Karate, when it comes to her, it just seems sort of like a suburban pastime.
Just something to do.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And where this is a release. Instead, it's a release for her. Like, we could see the character saying, hey, go easy on your opponents. Sure. There's been a lot of complaints.
Or the respect. The fact that Benicio Del Toro is constantly in that one scene reminding Leonardo DiCaprio, like, get off the... whatever. It's like, bow. All of that. And just like... and then we could have seen sort of how Lockjaw, in this case, plays out in her, that she does maybe desire this authority, or she does want to live out this world with maybe more rules or respect. Like that would have been an interesting place to go. And it's too weak, and it's too sort of like politically and morally flaccid. And I'm just like, and it wouldn't matter if it was character driven, but the fact that it took on an agenda, then you do have to pay attention to it. And it's not well done.
No.
And if he's neglected her, the Bob character, for the last 16 years, he's not showing any signs of improvement by, have a phone while he's trying to play with the phone and do a selfie. And like,
for sure.
All right, well, go to Oakland, 3.5 hours away, into the jaws of...
But be careful.
But be careful.
That was just some stupid ass shit.
Weak.
Yeah.
Would he not? Yeah. I mean, and especially when they've been through what they've been through. I mean, you gotta love that when she does have her girl boss moment, and that great chase scene through the desert.
Yeah.
With the rolly hills.
Yeah.
That really was like, this
was great.
I've never seen anything like this.
For sure. I've never seen that.
He was amazing. That was an amazing scene.
And in some ways, her karate training, be resourceful, use your environment, the way she comes over the hill, stops the car,
stops it,
smart.
For
sure.
Yeah. And then the trauma involved, she kills this guy and Bob shows up. I mean, that should have been, I never got a sense that their relationship changed after that, when you would think after what they've both been through.
Well, the camera doesn't
give,
would
be something.
He doesn't give DiCaprio anything to react to.
No, but it's there. I mean, it's like amidst the carnage, and she just killed this guy, and he's like, it's me, baby, it's me.
Yeah.
And she's still traumatized. She's not sure. I don't trust you, but,
And he doesn't, again, DiCaprio, I'm sorry, I've said this before, but he does not give any kind of fatherly feeling. He does not like. I'm
No.
sorry if you.
But that would have been
saw
his
it-
moment to become the father.
That's what I'm
Well,
saying. I'm just like he just did that. I'm just like if that was my kid, I mean, I'd be in pieces. And
This is where Benicio Del Toro should have been the
yeah,
lead. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. First of all, you could see him being laconically setting shit on fire all over the place.
Yeah.
Like he would. I buy that in a million years.
He's really become great.
Yeah.
Do you
But
think
it's
just
deeply
real
disappointing.
quick, keeping in mind that the terrific final chase there does the I'm Just Ken, which I didn't enjoy as much as I remembered. I remember thinking that was the highlight of the film. Is that comparable? Is there anything in Barbie that's comparable to one bet? Is there anything redeemable about Barbie's? I remember thinking that was so just balls out weird that it was pretty. I was like, oh, that was funny, but second time around, it didn't even strike as like.
It doesn't seem that weird.
Didn't remember. I don't remember. I thought it seemed pretty weird with the first time, but I thought,
Which scene are you referring to?
the musical. I'm Just Ken.
I'm Just Ken.
That little musical number, which I thought was
I still
kind of
think
funny.
it's probably the best part in the film, just because I kept
What I
thinking,
loved
I
about-
wish the rest of this film had this tone.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the fact that it is, who's the singer that he emulates? Help me out here, Roseanne.
I don't know.
Oh,
When he does, let me play my guitar at
the second
Rob Thomas, but no, the musical number.
Oh, the music. Okay, I'm going back when he sings. When he let me play my guitar.
No.
That to me was a funny scene because that really did feel like, oh God, and that kind of music, the Rob Thomas kind of music, that voice. I've never been a fan of that kind of stuff, but always sort of that heartfelt vocal quality.
So that's the best scene. That's the one scene.
For me, it was a funny scene in the beginning when he's playing her the song.
Yeah, but then it morphs into that.
And then it morphs exactly
into the bullshit about women. I think if the whole film had just been like weird musical with that color scheme, without the like cotton candy color scheme, but almost that like late 80s, early 90s Pink Socks, whatever they were doing, I think that would have been a more successful film if they had stayed in that vein, the I'm Just Ken vein.
Well, yeah, I don't know how.
I know. I don't know what would save that movie.
Yeah, well, that's the
less
one.
Rhea Perlman.
That's the one moment of inspired lunacy for sure in the movie. But it doesn't like. I think that's about it in terms of. And that's funny that did that win the Oscar? Did I'm Just Ken win the Oscar? Or what won the Oscar? No, but Ryan Gosling's performance brought the show down, right?
Brought the show, yeah.
So that seems like that was the most popular song, and that was the best moment in the film, and it's centered around Ken, not Barbie, which I thought was kind of funny. Like the one time the movie comes alive is him. and
he comes honestly
because the lyrics are fairly clever,
even though they're funny,
yeah.
And there's it's the only time he comes close to any kind of sincerity or any kind of moment that's emotionally revealing about men. And so that, again, the strength of the film being with Ken is also the fact that Ryan Gosling is a compelling performer, even though it's funny. Sean Penn is not as good of an actor as Ryan Gosling. And Ryan Gosling is stuck. He could have done a lot of heavy lifting emotionally, and he's stuck in this truly thankless role. And yet his charisma does carry off a lot of it. It's like the opposite of Sean Penn's performance in terms of what's happening in the film.
All right.
Anyway,
well, speaking of performance, so how does let's get in. We've got to start wrapping it up soon. So let's get into the performances. How does Margot Robbie compare to who? Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah.
Same thing, huh? Underdeveloped.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're giving the same performance.
Yeah. Alex, thoughts on Margot Robbie? Anything you liked about her? don't you? While you're thinking,
Why am I blanking?
While you're thinking though, don't you think it is a little weird that Margot Robbie? You can say, she was giving all the lesser, like lesser or just the diverse cast their moment in the sun. But don't you think it is a little weird that Margot Robbie is the only pretty actress in the? Okay, Alexander Shipp's attractive. They were attractive, but nobody even came close to Margot Robbie in terms of charisma. Like none of the other Barbies did. Like she didn't cast in a way that made it fair. Like because I bought my nieces an Indian Barbie. Black Barbies. There's all these different Barbies. They all look great. So I thought in a way it was like this strange casting where only one of the Barbies was attractive in her way. There was no like drop dead gorgeous other Barbies. There was only one actress that they cast. I just thought it was very strange casting. Like this is a very oddly cast movie for shouldn't the best of the best be all across the board?
Well, and that was the thing too. It's just like the Kens, except for who's Shang-Chi. That guy's super handsome.
Yeah.
Again, I think you said.
And I bought Angelina, my daughter. I bought her an Asian Ken, and he looked like that.
Yeah.
So he was good casting. He was.
I'd buy that Asian Ken all over the place.
He's a handsome kid. He totally looked like an
Yeah.
Asian Ken doll. But I just think everybody else did look like this hodgepodge at a grunge festival. I just don't think they looked like the Barbie world didn't even look right. Like this doesn't look right. They all look like screwballs.
Again, and Margot Robbie is a charismatic, good actress, and
sure.
So
no argument there.
For sure. But I was just like, man,
But she had I think she had the strange effect that she didn't seem like one of the bunch at all.
No.
Was that on purpose? I just wonder, like, she doesn't seem like one of the many millions of great Barbies in this world.
Right.
She's supposed to be stereotypical Barbie.
Right, but what does that even mean? Because
I don't know. Are you the epitome, the gold standard?
And they said hi, Skipper, and they kept talking about Skipper, but then they didn't mention little teen. There wasn't Barbie and Skipper, Barbie and PJ. I remember all the different Barbie dolls. My older sister had them, and it just seemed like there's a world there that they just seem to be making fun of all the mishaps, but it's like, no, there was all these different dolls, and it just seemed like they all look like Barbie, right? They all, the joke is that they just, I honestly would.
Well, again, they obviously
you
missed
couldn't
the mark,
cast Margot Robbie
as
as Black Barbie or Asian Barbie because it would freak out. But in a sense, that's how they should look.
If she had been all the white Barbies, I would have laughed forever because obviously all the white Barbies had the same face. During my Barbie buying phase,
even if they have dark brown hair.
Sure, no, that was the joke. And then you have different black actresses and different Asian actresses, and all their faces are something like that. Because let's face it, that was the deal.
It just seemed the world was very like a hodgepodge. It just bugged me. Anyway, sorry, Alex. Go on. What are your thoughts about Margot Robbie?
Margot Robbie.
Just a waste of a good talent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when I think of Margot Robbie in Once Upon a Time, and a much smaller part, and did so much more.
Sure.
In Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I really, it's like, wow, how could you miss this?
Well, I think because she still, you have to attribute the fact that the movie made $1.5 billion probably because she was playing Barbie.
Yeah.
I think
it could
originally it was Gal Gadot. I don't think that would have landed as much.
No, I don't think it would have.
I think it.
No, Margot Robbie has a certain.
Yeah.
She does do. She is a good actress to the point where she does do stuff and you don't notice she's acting, which is, she and Ryan Gosling are good. They're good actors. But she's not given anything. No. So it just feels like she's responding to the world's most confusing script. And that's what she looks like she's doing.
Yeah, and in a perfect world, this movie would just been a bomb. Like what? This is like if the Super Mario Brothers was a $2 billion smash. That's what it seemed.
Somebody might be listening in. Ooh, there's an idea.
No, it just seemed like this.
Bring back Leguizamo.
Bring back. Oh, please.
But that's what it feels like. It just feels like this strange, terrible concept that didn't feel like Barbie whatsoever to me. And not that I'm this huge Barbie, but I know enough about the world to understand the feeling it should have. It just seems like whatever.
But if they're gonna have I was playing with death-obsessed Barbie and cellulite Barbie, why didn't they go further with that? I mean, whatever disrupts her life, in the beginning, where suddenly her feet go flat and she's thinking of death, and they don't go far enough.
All random.
Sure.
It all feels so random.
Exactly, and and again,
the flat
it's just
feet,
that
right?
Facile ending.
Well, with the flat feet, right? Like, when did they drop that idea? Did she get her feet back?
Well,
was she supposed
no, at
to?
the end of the movie, we see her in Birkenstocks as she goes to
as
the
a human
gynecologist.
Like, isn't she
as
in
a
the
human
human
world? I
world?
suppose.
Yeah, which again,
Does
is
that
the
even
dumbest
make any sense?
No, it makes no. I was going to say that's like the dumbest choice.
Yeah.
Anyway, but we're talking.
It's not like we're talking Pinocchio
okay,
here.
performances though, because otherwise we could go on this forever. Anyway,
Yes.
I feel like
Thank
she
you.
and Leonardo DiCaprio give equivalent performances.
Yeah.
But I don't know who the equivalent for Ryan Gosling is in One Battle After Another, honestly.
Benicio Del Toro.
Benicio Del Toro, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but Benicio Del Toro is such a pro. I mean, I like Ryan Gosling too, but
I don't love Ryan Gosling in this because, again, he's dealing with a stupid character.
He is.
But he does.
He
At least holds his own in I'm Just Ken, where he suddenly he becomes the star of the show.
And to his credit, he is trying to create a world with his performance. It's just not working, but he is holding to something.
Yeah.
Even though it's buffoonery or whatever.
Yeah, it's so slapdash.
Of course.
It is. But it is. It is.
He's
funny.
trying to do something. I can give him that.
That was probably one of the few funny moments when he's trying to get a job in the patriarchy.
Sure.
Right. But
but each time, if only I'd got a PhD or if I could swim.
But again, my problem with this is just it's such a confusing script. So what
that's
are they all?
thing.
So that means if he's an idiot in the Barbie world, she's an idiot in the Barbie world.
Right.
Meaning her accomplishments as the Supreme Court, it's all just play acting for kids, because his accomplishments as a doctor and a neurosurgeon are all based on his costumes, and that's the same as Barbie's. She's brain dead, and she can just dress like an astronaut, which they don't establish. Again, I go back to Toy Story. Toy Story established that. It's just a facade, So they have to gain their characters by sticking together and fighting for something. So Toy Story,
really fast.
Yeah.
After Toy Story. So then Will Ferrell and Sean Penn?
Pretty much, for sure.
Except Sean Penn is even.
No, but if you cut those two elements out of the movie would have been better. In both cases.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
So,
cinematography. It goes all.
Come on.
One battle after another.
You bet. Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
musical score. I hate Johnny Greenwood.
Yeah, we know.
Hate it. So I don't think Barbie succeeded with the musical score. It had musical numbers, so I guess Barbie wins.
Mm-hmm.
But
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but One Battle had Steely Dan, and that's okay in my book.
Anyway, I don't know. In this movie, I was questioning Paul Thomas Anderson's choices to make the music louder than the scene. So he did it in Punch Drunk Love. In this movie, it seemed a little strange and not necessary, and called attention to itself.
But it works in Punch Drunk.
Yeah,
my point.
lot.
I said in
But
this
you've
movie,
got
I'm
John-
questioning.
Would it have worked if it wasn't your arch nemesis?
Johnny Greenwood? No, because John Bryan in Punch Drunk Love, just works. He plays with sound, and he messes with sound, and I know he likes
the
to do
whole
it.
time, yeah.
But in this movie, I didn't think it was necessary. So all these sort of dips in sound, he does it a lot. So there's a lot of dips in sound, and then rise with the music. And I think he just does that now, like, they'll never suspect my itching powder,
Sure.
So it just feels like he's just doing it to be a dick.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I don't think it added anything, certainly.
No.
Disabuse himself of that.
Yeah.
And then finally, obviously, he's the better director since I did think of the movie. The worst movies are the ones that you see and forget you saw the next day. So I'm not going to say Barbie went that far. I mean, I remember I was pretty mad about Barbie just because it was a giant hit. But I soon forgot about it, and now but One Battle After Another, I'm still thinking about it. I still am. A week and a half later.
Well,
So I give him he still knows how to shoot a movie.
Again, I would watch it again, and I would probably watch all Benicio Del Toro scenes again and again, just because I just thought I really enjoyed them, and I thought they added something new to the cinematic world, honestly. But other than, I'd probably watch all of it.
All right, final
Maybe
question.
I never want to see again.
Final question. Who was the bigger letdown, Greta Gerwig or Paul Thomas Anderson?
I'm going Greta Gerwig. I have to. I mean, that's my gut reaction. You know, and again, I reference back to Little Women. Like, you know, you come from this near flawless movie, and now you're suddenly in Uwe Boll territory or something. Like, wow.
Big hit.
And you had the money.
Big hit.
You had the backing. Yeah.
Big hits. You'll never win that argument.
It doesn't matter. You're right. I can't argue box office, but I don't know. The Police Academy movies made money. That doesn't mean they're you know.
Well, I wonder if people will still hold on to it, like they hold on to Hook and Ghost and all the other pieces of crap that made lots of money. Roseanne, Goonies, bigger letdown.
Barbie, just as a feminist and a female human, for sure. And just the fact that I was really rooting for her after making Little Women so wonderful. Yeah. And Paul Thomas Anderson, as you said, I mean, I am let down by this, and it is disappointing, but there was still some of him in there, and I didn't see any of Greta Gerwig in there.
Yeah, I agree. All right, folks, that's a long one today.
All right.
We had a lot to get off our chest.
A lot to unpack.
All right, thanks. So we'll like and subscribe and be our friend. Please be my friend. You fucking assholes. I fucking hate you. Don't do anything. I hate you.
Don't even bother.
Don't bother. Just watch your Barbies, you dumb shit. Please like me. Like me. Like
okay,
me.
please. Because nobody else will.
Bye.
Hold on.
Thank you for listening to Fabulous Film and Friends. Copyright 2025, a Bel Air Films production.